Ooh, hold up. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I heard myself in another tab. It's closed. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yo, listen, I have been talking about this person for quite some time. And I was like, I got to reach out to him. I got to reach out to him. And then I finally figured out how to reach out to him, which is awesome. But just full confession, and I'll explain this to him later on. I have a list of YouTubers that I'd like to meet in the future, and he just happens to have made the list. Somewhere between 3 and 4. I'll never tell you who's number one. But welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. I want y'all to make sure you welcome Mr. William. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You want to tell us you went for a run?
Yeah, I went for a run, so I'm a little sweaty still. I'm
You're
trying to get
not
it under
running
control.
from something. You went for a run.
Yeah, I went for a run.
Okay.
I'm trying to get it under control right now. You can see a little sweat, but
I was like,
it is what it
if you
is.
gotta get a napkin, you gotta get a napkin. I completely
I,
understand. Oh my gosh. Shout out to you. Hey, I want to thank you so much for joining me.
mhm.
I have been watching your work for quite some time and have, seen your other interviews and everything. I think one thing that stands out to me about you is the above and beyond that you go through your advocacy to expose this cult, expose the police, and expose this love affair entanglement, that they have with each other. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate your kind words.
Thank you. One thing that stood out though, and I'll say this, is it's Spanish speaking. When when you're out there and you're telling, and I don't know how your Spanish is. Ooh, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Okay. One of the things I appreciate is your Spanish speaking. When you tell people, don't go in, there's una secta. No te metas. That shit just like blew me away. I said, oh my God, does he speak Spanish? Like, what made you even say this in Spanish? What's going
Well,
on?
I don't. Yeah, I don't speak Spanish. I was frustrated watching them use Spanish-speaking recruiters to target Latinos out on Hollywood Boulevard. And
Okay.
I would try my best to stop the recruiting. I don't speak Spanish. And so I just came across as just like a crazy guy yelling at them, and they just kind of looked at me bewildered. So I just, had to ask certain sayings like "es una secta, es un culto," things like that. But that's about the extent of my Spanish speaking that there is. But it was important because, again, that seems to be who they are definitely targeting out on
Yeah.
Hollywood Boulevard. What happened was then we started having Spanish speakers come out there and started working with us, and they were highly effective. People like both Chris's, Jorge, and others have been super at uh, really stepping in and preventing the the recruiters from taking advantage of these. And it's often families, it's often an older person or parents, and then young kids, and you see them brought in there in a group of 5 or 6 people. Who knows what's going to happen after that, as far as, are they going to lose money from this? Are they going to actually lose family connections? So having those Spanish speakers out there has been super helpful.
You guys are stopping generations of destruction while you guys are doing that. Like that is amazing. When I saw that, I said, Lord have mercy, does is he speaking Spanish too? Because when I was watching that little winter wonderland fest that they did,
Yeah.
the majority of the families are like, and I'm Mexican, so it's like my people, it's mi gente. So it's like they're targeting specific populations. That
Hmm.
scared me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're targeting Central and South Americans, uh, non-English speakers, and then Eastern Europeans, whether it be Ukraine, Russia, in that area, Polish. So it seems like they try to take advantage of language barriers to, for one, especially around us. Uh, it just makes it harder for us to stop the recruiting. But it seems like they're stepping in uh, places where there are conflict going on right now. They
Yeah.
take advantage of disasters in South and Central America. They're taking advantage of the Ukrainian-Russian war. People seem to be struggling there, and so that seems to be where they're going after. You guys need some wheat. You guys need rice. You need beans. Sure, we'll send you a supply of it. Here's a Dianetics book. You guys should read that if you want your next shipment. That seems to be sort of their MO these days.
Oh my God. Okay, so while you're out there, I mean, is there any, and not that you're gonna be, forward about this, but doesn't anything of this scare you? Like, is there any moments where you're like, this shit is too scary? No? You've seen it all? No?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been battling the police for years.
Right.
You do when you go up against the LAPD on a daily basis, nightly basis, going up against the LAPD when you're one person going up against 20 of them on a dark street in South Central at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can handle that, dealing with some goofy people at a test center isn't exactly scary. Yes, they will use any tactics possible to try to deter us from continuing with what we're doing. They will definitely take advantage of their relationship with the police to try to stop us. But no,
Absolutely.
none of this is scary. Not much going to scare me, and they definitely do not.
So like last weekend, you were definitely knowing where to go. You caught these LAPD officers watching the streamers, watching
Yeah.
people. I was like, whoa, like that was amazing. And to me, what made you like, what is your intuition? What tells you, let me go check out this route, or let me go look over here?
Yeah, listen, it's just one of those things that, like I said, I'm a cop watcher, been cop watching for years. People always ask me, do I use a scanner to follow around the police? Rarely. I usually just kind of go off of, I guess, intuition, go off of patterns of behavior. What happened was I was actually standing off to the side, talking to my chat, and I saw a police car race through a light, and it seemed like, and it was racing north, so it was going north into the Hollywood Hills, where really there wasn't a reason for them to go that way, and the way they went speeding like that
Mm.
made me think that he just didn't want to be seen, that officer, and there was a reason for that. So I looked at where he went to, and I saw he went up about a block. So I said, let me walk over there and see what's going on. I have a feeling they're staging over there. I went over there, and lo and behold, they were staging. I'm used to them staging. I've caught them staging a couple of times. It's usually what they'll do is they'll stage a couple of cop cars over there, and they probably send around one of the many unmarked police cars to monitor the activists. And then if they see anything that happens where they can actually use it against the activists, they'll roll in with the police. This time was a little bit different. So yeah, they were sitting around, they were looking at their cell phones, looking at video of the protests and discussing it. And I just kind of came over there and blew up their little get
You
together and made a bit of
did. I
I
was
enjoy that
laughing.
so much. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy that.
I enjoyed it too. I said, this is awesome. What were you doing in your life before you got into cop watching? What was your life like? What were you doing?
Um, I was obsessed with running marathons and getting ready to run triathlons and Ironmans. That's what um, I guess that's all I was really focused on up until COVID. I ran my last marathon right as COVID was setting in March of 2020. Um, and I continued to run, during COVID, just trying to stay in shape because I planned on running like 8 marathons that year in 2020. So, um,
Wow.
yeah, and then COVID hit, and so we sat around in our homes for a few months. And then the George Floyd incident happened. I got involved with activism. And so, yeah, quite honestly, from 2020 until 2023, I was solely focused on with my activism, going after holding the police accountable, and it was a lonely fight, and
Mm.
going and holding politicians accountable. I've been saying for years that the LAPD is deeply corrupt, and people have always said, "Oh, well, you're just overstating it. It's not as bad as you say it is." I'm like, no, no, trust me, it's as bad as I say it is. Look at the video for yourself, guys. And they're like, "Oh, you're probably just, editing the video." No, they're deeply corrupt. And so I did all that activism up until I guess it would have been April of last year. So when I had my first fight with the Scientologists.
Yeah.
Um, I got to tell you, I was actually talking to a friend last night. He's a journalist friend of mine, and we were having a talk around this time last year.
Oh
And
my
it's funny
God.
how much our views have changed towards the Church of Scientology.
Really?
Oh yeah, because listen, I knew some stuff about it, right? I had seen some of the documentaries, and my general feeling is, yeah, these guys are destructive. So is the Catholic Church. Is the Sea Org any crazier than say a nunnery? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that way. And then I got into my fight with them and started, it started escalating from there, doing a little bit more research, observing them, watching what they're doing. And it led to the point where it slowly, this was a slow the progress on this was slow over the last year. It started off with a fight, but I told them I was going to end their religion during the course of that fight. I knew I could not do it right then. I had so many other projects I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that after the summer was over, I'd have more time, or at the end of the summer, I would definitely have more time, and I would focus on them. I kind of did the calculations in my head the first night when I had my fight with them, where I said to myself, okay, can I end this group? And I said, yeah, I think I can. I think I have to create a TikTok account and create a YouTube account, and talk about the abuses of Scientology. Um, Bring in a little humor with it too, because it does very well on TikTok. And I think
Yeah.
other people will follow along. I think good people will start coming out one by one, and we can grow this thing. I think we can grow it fast. I said to myself, and it'll take about a year before we start having a real effect. I think
Yes.
we're way ahead of schedule. Honestly, the last 6 months, I think, actually, the last four months, I think we've made tremendous progress.
Yes.
So, so that's
Wow.
how I got to this point.
Well, Williams, there's not a lot of other Williams in different states now. I mean, I'm hearing one that there's Austin, you got
Oh yeah.
Denver, you got like so many people have picked up on what you're doing because they're also very passionate about exposing Scientology. So it's picked up a lot of steam.
I mean, it's picking up. It's definitely picking up steam. I think. Listen, we've seen Anonymous did a great job
Yes.
against them, and people like Nasty Nathaniel and Angry Gay Pope and many others have been doing this long before I did. I think
Hmm.
the difference now is the internet has changed.
We're showing
Yes,
our face, right?
yeah.
Like Anonymous, thank you, but we're all showing our faces now, right?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I think showing your face is important. So in my activism over the last few years, most people didn't really know what I looked like. I guess they saw a Twitter account with one picture on it, but other than that, I never showed my face. I'm always filming. I'm not really, I always felt uncomfortable showing my face. Not like I was trying to hide, but I knew I had to show it sometime in order to have some credibility. If you're anonymous all the time, you sort of nobody's taking. It's not a matter of taking credit. It's sort of somebody has to be seen. People have to make a connection, right? And they have to make. Sometimes it takes having being able to see a person's face, seeing their expressions, seeing the emotion, and to have that sort of connection. I think that's the difference right now. Is anonymous? They were kind of behind masks, and listen, they didn't have TikTok back
That's
then.
right.
TikTok, listen, this wouldn't be going on like it is without TikTok. Even though I've migrated away from TikTok, it was necessary because it was just the right platform to sort of get this going. And of course, getting it going required some humor involved. I crack a few jokes while we're doing it. I don't think it's actually harmful in any way. I think it's
Yeah.
just a way to
Yeah.
get people to engage. I think now I think now that's less necessary. I don't think humor is necessarily as important as it was before. And that's why, when I migrated to YouTube, others have migrated to YouTube. It's actually better because TikTok relies on those 30 to 60-second clips, right? Where
Right.
now we can do long form stuff. We can actually explain. We can actually show people exactly what's going on during the course of one of our protests, whether it be an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours.
Okay. And my question then, and I'm kind of wondering because
Mhm.
Scientology has also personally attacked you through the death of your son, right?
Yeah.
Um, I saw that video. I put it on my community wall. I recommend everybody watch it, where you have some security guard who essentially wanted to parent shame you for a tragic situation that happened to your son. And I appreciate that you did that video, but I mean, how did that land with you when it initially happened?
Oh, listen, I'm used to it. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I'm used to it. I'm used to, listen, going up against the Scientologists, you get some very little blowback. When you go up against the LAPD, I'm used to having nonstop messages in my inboxes, telling me I'm a piece of crap and they're going to get me, they're going to hurt me, they're going to do this to me and that. I'm used to people sending me my son's autopsy report. I'm used
Oh
to,
my God.
yeah, this is what I'm used to. So I've sort of become numb to these things. These things aren't, you're not gonna hurt me like that. My son's death
Yeah.
hurt me enough. Things that you are saying about him, it will have no real effect on me. It doesn't hurt me. I think I document it because I think it's important to show people what the Church of Scientology resort to, especially when you consider it's a religious organization. What religious organization uses the death of somebody's son as a tool to attack them?
Uh-oh.
And then not just to attack them, to lie.
William, are you
See,
there?
listen. Yeah,
Oh,
can you hear me?
you kind of froze out. You left off and uses the death of your son to
Yeah, it uses a religious organization using the death of my son as a tool to
attack
attack
you.
their, yeah, to attack me, to attack their critics. Listen, I just think that if you're a religious organization and you're confident in your practices, rather than coming and resorting to stunts like that, you'd come outside and say, hey, here, we're Scientologists, we're proud Scientologists. This is what we believe in. This is how we help people.
Right.
And you know what? Here's a free book. Like here's like if I go to a Catholic church, here's a Bible. Uh,
That's well, okay. You keep bringing up, and I'm Catholic, right? And I could recognize that the institution, the religious institution, is messed up. Every every religious institution out there. Now, I'm one of those Catholics that goes every once in a while that should probably be going more often, but I don't. But what in your opinion, sets that apart versus this cult or others? I guess.
yeah, yeah. Listen. I think the Catholic Church has a history of being uh, scandalous and being destructive. Yes, I do.
Hmm.
The difference is Catholics are not held there against their will.
That's true.
They're not. They're not. You know, doing human trafficking. And quite
Yeah.
honestly, they're going to tell you what they believe in up front. If I go to a
Hmm.
Catholic church, I say, what do you guys believe in? They say, oh, we believe in the teachings of Christ. And here's a Bible, and here's what we believe in. I'm not
Yeah.
going to get that from the Scientologists. I say, hey, what is this place? Oh, you want to take a personality test? You want to take a stress test? You want to take an IQ test? You want to see a free movie? They use all that deception to
Right.
recruit straight through the process. Not to mention, you know, the all the other churches and stuff, they give you all the teachings up front, sort of, right? You get the whole Bible.
Yes.
Where with the Church of Scientology, you've got to go through all these different levels before you get to the final truth or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, to me, there's a clear difference. If I've always said, if the Scientologists came out to Hollywood Boulevard when they're recruiting and said, to people on the street, hey, do you want to join up for Scientology? This is what we believe in. We believe in the popsicle people and whatnot. I would have no problem. I would just say, okay, you guys are kind of crazy, the kind of the spaghetti monster, the crew, but that's your business and people are free to make their own choices. But when they're
Absolutely.
lying and deceiving to recruit people, that's when there's a problem. And that's what sets them apart from all these other religions.
Oh man. No, I completely agree. I would say so. I'm not saying it's not perfect, but I know that if I decide to denounce the Catholic Church today and become an atheist tomorrow and then return the next day and go to confession or whatever it may be, I'm gonna be okay. Like I'm not gonna be on some website or I'm not gonna have somebody knocking at my door or fair game me
Right,
because I denounced the church. Doesn't happen
right.
that way.
And are they going
I'm
to
okay.
separate you from your family? Is the Catholic
No,
Church going to say that your uncle or your mother or your child is an enemy of the Catholic Church, therefore you have to separate and disconnect from them entirely? They're not going to do that, right? Again, they're flawed. They're definitely flawed. I think
hmm.
I'm not. I'm a non-religious person. I
Yeah.
think it's all kind of crazy to me, but whatever. If it makes you a better person, good. If you're going to go out there and feed the poor, and if you're going to take care of people, great. But I got to tell you something. It's another thing with Scientologists is they don't go out there and do that sort of community engagement like you see. I go to the Catholic Church over here, and there's going to be a line in front of there of the people that they're feeding. And if I go to the Church of Scientology, there will be a homeless person sitting right in front of their building, and I've literally documented this in the pouring rain, and they're not going to do anything for them. Why? Because that homeless person right there doesn't have any money to give them. They're of no use to them. Maybe they have mental health issues. They're so debilitating that they can't use them for their labor. So
They brought it
therefore, if
on
they
to themselves, right?
Yeah, they brought it on to themselves, right? So yeah, so
Oh
you know,
my
there's a
gosh.
big difference between, I guess, the Scientology and many other religions. Not all. I would say there's a fine line over between them and say Jehovah's Witnesses of
Yeah.
who's worse. Or I can't think of the name of that one religion that's associated with that dance crew I was just doing it, Chen Yun
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah, Cheng.
Uh,
They like
Falun
travel
Gong.
around. You know they
Yeah,
pay for commercials on the videos, and so somebody left in my comment, "You're talking about a cult, and here you have Shang Yun," and I'm like, "It's not. I don't get to choose the
yeah, you
commercials.
can. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
probably a Scientology the commercial that plays right after
Well,
here, you
there's a
know."
lot of similarities between them and Scientology. They think that their leader, who's created this whole religion, can levitate, can walk through walls, um, will live forever. They think that aliens are in each person's body.
Oh Lord.
Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but yeah, so they're not, obviously Scientology is not the only cult, but the Scientology is the only cult that right now has been recruiting in my neighborhood, a few blocks from my house on Hollywood Boulevard, and I take offense to that.
Mm. Have you had a decent conversation with the Scientologist, like that you can think of since you started doing this?
No,
Really?
no. Well,
I
a
was
current
hoping you'd
Scientologist?
tell me somebody like a decent conversation. Just I was hoping you'd tell me like, yeah, we talked about Xenu or not Xenu, or we talked about whatever, you know?
No. Since I've been doing this, they haven't talked to me. I guess I had talks with Scientologists years ago over at the Blue Building.
Mm,
Some of the security guards that we see today, Odo. Um, I didn't really think much of it. Again, I'm like, okay, this is a creepy looking place, this Blue Building. But that's their own thing. I got my own things to worry about. Now I look at it differently. But back then, yeah, I had a couple of conversations. Actually, had conversations with one of the security guards who is over in front of the test center that we've been targeting. But this
mm.
was during COVID. This is well before I started, my whole fight against the Church of Scientology. And we had halfway decent conversations at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when he was standing out there. I see him now. He looks a lot different. He's no longer a security guard. Now he's one of the recruiters of the Blue Building. He's been in a few of my videos,
Yes.
and he acts like he doesn't even recognize me now. So
Oh my. See, he just doesn't know. He knows you, but he doesn't
oh,
know
he knows
you.
who I am. He knows who I am. He knows who I am. He just,
Mhm.
I'm a suppressive person, so he doesn't
So
want to
am
talk to me.
I, and I
Yeah,
wasn't even trying to be in, you know?
I take great pride in that. I'm gonna get a
That's it.
suppressive person T-shirt.
Oh my God. And so so for me, this has been a bit of a journey, right? Learning about Scientology and all the nuances and whatnot. But was there ever, is there anything that piques your curiosity about Scientology? Is there anything that you're like, why? Is there something that you'd like to look into? Like, aren't you curious at all?
I'm not curious at all. So it's funny.
Because I'll tell
Um,
you, OT 345, whatever, I'm like, where is this bridge that they're going and climbing through where they're gonna see this alien god? Like, I'm like, where is this? Anyways, just
I see
curious.
gibber when I read the OT levels. All I see is gibberish. All I see
Really?
is severe mental health issues, and it looks like I often say, looks like something I've seen scribbled on the sidewalk in Hollywood, right, in crayon. It's all
Yeah.
sort of nuts to me. And so, yeah, I've been asked that question numerous times. Are you curious? And not really, because it's kind of like watching somebody having a mental health fit
Yeah.
and then trying to sort of understand, the things that they're saying, which are just none of it makes sense anyway. So I just
Mhm.
I don't feel comfortable actually digging in because I feel like it's kind of creepy and I want to keep my sanity and
Yes.
yeah, let me just separate from this.
Yeah, I hear. Let me not get sucked in by the bridge.
And not get
So let
sucked in. It reminds me of there was a show that used to be on TV called Hoarders
Oh
and
yes.
and I used to hate watching that show because I just didn't feel good afterwards. I'm like, I just
Yeah.
witnessed some severe mental health issues, and it bothered me. I feel the same way about
Yeah.
Scientology when I learned about, some of the intricacies.
Oh, I so agree. Yeah. I definitely agree. Where do you see, you and the Squirrel Squad, which you have been called, right? Where do y'all see each other? Like, what is the the vision at this point for the
And
protesting, the advocacy.
yeah, they were going to end the Church of Scientology.
I get that, but is there like certain other things that you're going to add to the mix while you're ending the
Well,
church?
yeah. So I think it's important not to be rigid
Yes.
and to constantly change up. Listen, I didn't think 2, 3 months ago we'd be standing in front of La Poubelle trying to warn people
Oh,
about
yes.
the little rape shop there. Okay. Um, my main goal at first was to stop the recruiting on Hollywood Boulevard, which is probably their main recruiting place in the world. Its
Yeah.
location is such that it's centrally located in Hollywood, right by Hollywood and Highland, a very well trafficked area, a lot of foot traffic. You're getting the people that are coming up and down the street. First off, they have time because they're usually on vacation, so they have time to spare. They
Yes.
have money to spare because they're on vacation and they're looking for some sort of entertainment. And then oftentimes they are non-English speakers. Those
Yeah.
test center workers, they can speak 4, 5, 6 languages. I wanted to stop the recruiting there. And I think we've effectively stopped it. We have effectively stopped it. We want to affect the amount of money they bring in through the recruiting. I would
Yeah.
imagine that place made many tens of thousands of dollars per month. Now it makes nothing. I guess they use it for coursework now. That's about it. So we wanted to shut down that place. Secondly, wanted to bring awareness. Scientology does best when people don't know what Scientology is, when they can work their little deception game. That's much harder these days. If
Hmm.
if we are not protesting, and some of those Scientologist recruiters walk down Hollywood Boulevard to recruit people, random people on the street are going to say, "Oh wow, that's Lurch, that's Sebastian," and they're going to
Yes.
and so they are going to kind of inform the public on their own. We don't necessarily need to be there. We will be there the minute they reopen.
Right.
But making sure that we can inform the public about Scientology was the second part. The third part is to try to get to not try to get their tax exempt status removed.
Yes.
And that's a little harder game. It's a longer game. I don't think it'd be a terribly long game. I think we can get our act together and really organize this well. There's an election this year. Get these politicians on record. I had somebody send me an email yesterday uh, who contacted their local, I guess they're running for assembly person in
Hmm.
Arizona,
Yeah.
and got them on record saying that Scientology's tax exempt status needs to be looked into. So that's one. We have many hundreds and thousands of politicians
That's
that need
awesome.
to be asked the same questions. And this includes out here in LA, the mayor, Mayor Bass. That includes Nithya Raman, who controls the district where La Poubelle is. And that includes Hugo Soto Martinez, who is the council member of the district where the blue building is, where the test center is, where they're building on Ivar is. He needs to be asked if he supports or if the Church of Scientology should have their tax exempt status removed. I don't think there are many
Absolutely.
politicians who are going to defend Scientology's tax exempt status. I think they're going to be cowards and try to not answer the questions, but that's where we need to come after them to make sure that they do answer those questions.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I mean, and I love that it's something that's going to be an ongoing thing, right? That
Oh
it's
yeah,
going to take some time and work.
not a lot of
Work.
time. I don't. I'm telling you right now. I don't
You
think this
don't
will
think
take
so?
as much time as people think. No, I think I think that we can create momentum. We can create it quick in a way. Listen, we created momentum right now.
Yes.
The Church of Scientology isn't in the business of retreating. They will fight when they face some sort of resistance. They will fight to the bitter end and never give up, never give in. Well, they gave up and gave in because now they are on the run. They've abandoned Hollywood Boulevard. They're
Yeah.
hiding in their buildings. They're frosting their windows. They're not coming outside. So yeah, no. And listen, this all started because they acted like they owned the sidewalk, like they own the street. Well, we own the
Yes.
sidewalk now. We control the sidewalk. We control the street, and they are nowhere to be found. So we've made good progress in a short period of time. I think the process of getting their tax exempt status removed is one of those things that if we can get enough people in local communities, and listen, young people, college kids, to confront their local politicians. I don't care what position they have, as long as they're elected. They could be an insurance commissioner, a mayor, a governor, a dog catcher. As long as they're elected, they should be asked what their stance is on the Church of Scientology's tax exempt status. And I think we can actually make big strides quickly. I think in a year, we can get to the point where we'll be talking about hearings in Congress over
Yes.
having their tax exempt status removed.
Oh my
And you know
goodness.
what? If they keep on pulling these stunts, it'll be even quicker because they're bringing attention to themselves that, quite honestly, it's just a huge unforced error. Every time they've tried to fight back, they have stepped in it, and we have used it to our advantage to expose them. Nothing they have done has been effective. It's only hastened the process of ending them.
Absolutely. My goodness. Do you guys, I mean, so currently it's La Poubelle right now where all the protesting is happening at this point. And I would hate for you to leak somewhere else it's going to happen, but are you thinking other
Two
businesses?
weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I didn't even know what La Poubelle was.
Yeah, I had no
I
clue
had no
until
idea about the history. I
recent.
think it was DOA
Yeah.
who was the one who actually was the first one over there protesting. So he
Mm,
started this. So it's one of those things that I have no idea where this will be 2 weeks ago. I do know we will be someplace, we will have cameras there, and there'll be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people watching these interactions. So there's no telling where we will be. Like you said earlier, we're seeing people. They're doing this in Austin. They're doing this. Somebody reached out to me,
yes.
said they're going to do it in Philadelphia. They're doing this all over the place these days, and so you know, there's no telling where things will be in a few weeks, a few months from now. But just know that we will still be out there. We'll be in different places, and we'll keep Scientology on a run. Eventually, they're going to reopen the test center. We will be there to shut it down all over again.
Oh my goodness. I'm all here for it. We'll be reporting it. How could, for some of us that aren't in the protests, I got little ones, so I can't just go to my local Scientology cult building, even though I'd
Mhm.
love to, and bring the little ones, but I'm concerned, right? What are some of the ways that we can continue to support you guys while this is happening? The way I see
I
it, we
mean,
keep talking about it.
yeah, no, listen, I think it's important to do exactly what I was saying earlier. Contact your local officials, get them on
Okay.
record, write them an email. If they don't answer, write them another one and another one. Call, put pressure on them, get them on record. Eventually, if you keep on pressuring them, they're going to have to go on record. That's one way. I mean, to me, that's the most effective way to help. Uh, when we're out there, we're kind of doing our own thing. We have our sort of resources at the moment to handle these things. Listen, there are little things you can do, like, if you are watching the streams and if somebody says, hey, can you help us out, can you cut up a video, can you put together a collage of all the incidents where the police have been called, can you send us the screenshots of everybody who's walked into La Poubelle. There are things like that that you can do, but really the most important thing you can do is just reach out to your own elected officials and try to get them on record about Scientology's tax exempt status. I think that's just the most important thing you can do. It's the only way we're going to actually reach our goal.
Do you feel like there will continue to be more people like assaulted and LAPD arresting the wrong people? Do you feel like this is gonna be an ongoing, because now we have this all on camera where things are happening and LAPD is like arresting or
Yeah,
detaining, whatever the word is, the wrong people on the wrong side.
yeah, this is going to escalate. The Church of Scientology is in retreat, and they're scratching and clawing. They don't have many tools to use. The only tool they have left is LAPD. And LAPD is perfectly willing,
Yeah.
because of their relationship, to step in and try to help the Church of Scientology. Listen, these arrests are wrong. Obviously, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
In the long run, it's people are seeing exactly the corruption that's going on,
Yes.
because this isn't just happening, on a side street, nobody's around. This is happening while 10 people are live streaming and the whole world is watching it. The whole world is watching
Yeah.
it. So I think, are they going to continue doing it? Yeah, they're going to continue. The LAPD is going to continue arresting us or coming after us nonstop until we force them to stop. Until we force them, the LAPD, to stop. And I'm highly motivated right now to go after the LAPD and shame them and
Yeah.
embarrass them and force their hand. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for to be even-handed. It's all we're asking for. but the LAPD doesn't have that in them. So, this war is now not just against the Church of Scientology, but in many ways against the LAPD, specifically the LAPD Hollywood division. So yeah.
No, and just it just amazes me that the level, well, no, it shouldn't. So I worked in government for 10 years.
Right.
And so everybody's taxes paid my salary, right?
Right.
So the level of transparency that has to exist has to be up there. But then again, every position is different. But there is a lot of corruption in government. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not
Right.
happening. So I think that that's important. This is coming from somebody that was in the inside and, has left that
And I
career.
think it's important you said there. It's like it's
Yeah.
our tax dollars, right?
Yeah,
So
y'all paid for me,
well, that's
right?
the thing. You know who didn't pay for you? The Church of Scientology,
There
because
you
they're
go.
tax exempt. So the police are being used as sort of their personal security, their
Yeah.
PIs, and all of these things. But the Church of Scientology doesn't put a penny towards the police department. We do. The people who are being arrested by the police pay more money towards the police than the entire Church of Scientology does as far as taxes. Now,
Yeah.
granted, the Church of Scientology gives money to, say, the police foundations and the LAPPL, that's the police union. But those aren't public organizations, they're technically private organizations. As far as public works are concerned, they pay for none of it, but as they use these resources.
Yeah. Do you see like the ACLU getting involved? Do you see any more people getting involved that are, might have a little bit more
I
notoriety
don't
behind their
think
name?
I don't think the
Or they
ACL
might be paid
listen.
off Scientology. No.
No, I think the ACLU is just weak. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I have connections with the ACLU. I've taught classes at US or spoke at classes at USC with professors who are high
Yeah.
up in the ACLU. I have a lot of beef with the ACLU too. They're weak.
Do you?
They're soft. Yeah, they're soft. And I think the whole idea of, oh, well, we don't know if we want to go up against the Church of Scientology because they may send us emails threatening to sue us, or this is what we have to deal with. So I don't expect much from them. I think they're a weak organization. Um, I think that the police. Do I think the police are going to continue trying to target us to try to scare us off? Yes. Do I think that I'll probably get arrested in the coming days? Sure. I don't really care.
Okay.
If they do that, it'll be the worst mistake they ever made. I promise you that. Every
Yeah.
time the police arrest me for their frivolous stuff, I've been arrested 5 times by these people for in
But
the
never
course of my
charged?
activism. Um, I was charged. Oh, I mean, I've been charged. I've been given $50,000 bails. They've
Yeah.
seized my phones and gotten search warrants for them. But every time I've gone into court, they said case dismissed. Listen, I've been in court one time, and as I was standing
Really?
up, they said, yeah. And then as I was standing up, they said case dismissed. The other
Uh-oh. Your sound went off. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear him? Convicted? I'm looking at the chat to see.
How
Yeah,
about
now
now?
I hear you.
That
Now I
was
hear
weird.
you. What's weird?
That
Go
was the
ahead.
church. That was OSA.
That
Uh,
Osa, can y'all stop the Wi-Fi interference? Let us get through this. Okay. So you haven't been convicted? Is
no,
that what?
in the last 2.5 years. They've arrested me 5 times. I'm in the
Mhm.
process right now. They're in the process of trying to prosecute me. They're trying to indict me for intimidation of a police officer. They're in the process of doing it.
What?
There's a police officer who gave a sworn. I just happened to get my hands on it. I'm not going to say how I got my hands on it. It was a sworn declaration by a detective in the Hollywood division, Detective John Doe #1, who gave a sworn declaration to the city attorney saying that I threatened his life, and because of that, he and his family are scared and he feels uncomfortable coming to work these days. The only thing I told this cop is, this is a cop who I had been trying to get his name for 2 years. And I saw him on the street and I said, I'm going to get your name. That's what I said to him.
If you're a
I'm,
public servant, that should be public information. What do you, even my shit is out there. What do you mean?
yeah,
Anything. If somebody's fired, if they're let go, if they're, somehow in trouble by the government for whatever reason, disciplinary stuff, that's all public.
exactly. And listen, an officer has the power to take a person's freedom or the life.
Yes.
We should be able
Yes.
to identify that officer. And
Hell
me telling him I'm
yes.
going to find out his name is not a criminal threat. He wrote on that sworn declaration that and he lied. He said that I said I was going to come find him, which I didn't say. I have this on video. The incident was filmed. It's conclusive. But they're still trying to, in the process of trying to indict me, claiming that I threatened this police officer by simply saying I was going to find out his name. And it's important to say this. This is an officer who I didn't know his name, but I had been filing complaints on him for 2 years. Filing complaints, not knowing his name. I had defense attorneys reaching out to me saying that through a pitches motion, we found out that you filed a complaint against a Detective Ramsey. And I would have to say, I don't know who that person is. Do you have a picture?
Whoa.
Because I don't know. There are a lot of cops who I don't know their names because they don't tell me. Do you have a
Yeah.
picture? Like, we don't have a picture. And it was only until I ran his picture through a facial recognition database that I was
Okay.
able to identify him, which is also the reason why I'm being subpoenaed right now to testify against him in court about his history of lying, which I have a feeling that case is going to be either thrown out or they're going to settle with the defendant in that case because they don't want to put this detective on stand because I will tear him up.
Ooh, oh my
So yeah,
gosh.
no, it's never ending with the LAPD. That yeah, like I said, they arrested me 5 times. They're in the process of trying to indict me now. I assume they're trying to go after one of my colleagues who put together a database of the cops, each cop and their
Oh,
picture and their salary and things like that. They're
why? That's public
actively
information.
so yeah. Listen, there was a case that happened. I guess it would have been in March of last year.
Uh-huh.
Police, actually, it started before this. A journalist had sued the LAPD. They sued him. They sued LAPD asking for the pictures of officers. Um, at first the LAPD refused to. Then the city attorney ended up settling and turned over the pictures of every single officer. The purpose of getting their pictures is so we can identify the cops. We have
Okay.
a right to identify them. And they gave the pictures to the journalist. And then 6 months later, after the pictures, they put together a database of all the cops. They said the city attorney came back and said, "No, we want those pictures back. You're going to have to give those pictures back, and if you don't, we're going to sue. We want the
Okay.
pictures returned." Now, mind you, these are pictures that are already all over the internet. It's kind of hard to return them, right? Um, so they sued
Okay.
them. They sued the journalist to get the pictures back. And
Okay.
because of that, 300 police officers are suing the city for turning over the pictures, claiming that it puts their lives at risk. If with their pictures out there, they are no longer safe. So it's really kind of ridiculous, right?
It
Right.
really is, given the profession that they chose.
Yeah, this is a profession they chose. They said that they are very secretive, especially the group that's mostly suing are detectives. They claim that their line of work, they go out of their way to avoid hiding their identity.
Hmm.
So myself and my colleagues, we went and Googled these individual cops to see what would show up.
Yeah.
One of these groups was called the SIS, it's the elite tactical unit in LAPD, probably the most elite tactical unit in the United States.
Okay.
They said that we are undercover and we go through great extremes to hide our identity. So we went and Googled them. These guys have their stuff all over their own LinkedIn's, saying yes, we work in LAPD SIS. Imagine if you were a CIA agent
Yeah,
and you were
no.
putting on your LinkedIn, I'm an undercover CIA agent. That was the
Yeah.
equivalent. These guys all have IMDb pages. They do acting work and they do extra work, and I see that they have commercials. They're on commercials in front of their
Not
own homes,
commercials.
in front of their own homes, buffing out their own cars with their license plates and addresses to see. As they're saying,
Oh
they go to
my
great
God.
lengths to hide their identities. So yeah, that's what we're doing. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
my God. Not
As they're going to sue for
commercials.
hundreds of millions.
Wow. I appreciate that it's not just so much about protesting, but you're also doing the advocacy work behind the scenes. You're emailing people, you're calling people, you're tagging people, you're on it. And that's the piece that I said, this is the above and beyond. advocacy where you're walking and talking the talk at the same time.
I don't think it's above and beyond. I just think it's effective.
It's effective.
I'm not.
All
I'm
right.
not the type of guy who's going to go out there and just go on a march and bang pots and pans and
There you go.
chant. That's not me, right? I want to. If I'm going to spend my time, I feel like I'm a busy person. If I'm going to spend my time putting in the work, trying to get something done, I want it to be highly effective. And for me
Yeah,
to be highly effective, you actually have to confront the right people. You have to be very public with what you're
absolutely.
doing, and really take public shaming to the next level.
That's true. Show everybody's pots and pans. That's what you do it.
Listen. When you're dealing with a corrupt system, right?
Absolutely.
Who are there? Police are not going to hold themselves accountable. The politicians are not
Absolutely.
going to hold the police accountable. So I think if there was this one instance where I was just walking up behind a cop on a scene. He didn't know I was there, and he's just cursing out a lady, cursing her out
Wow.
until he saw I was there, and then he stopped. I could file.
Interesting.
I filed a complaint on it, and of course they didn't do much. I guess they suspended it and gave him a reprimand or whatever. That's not good enough. Actually, it's not good enough, and the politicians aren't going to do anything. But I think when you post that video online, post his name with that video, and it goes viral, and now
Yeah.
his friends and their families are seeing it, and his kids at school are having to deal with
It's a
their
different
friends
level.
saying, "I saw your dad cursing out that lady." That sort of public shaming is the way that you actually change behavior.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Some people in the chat want to know, what are you doing to take care of yourself and your health for self-care? Like, what do you do?
I
I
go
mean, I know
running.
you just got done
I just
running.
got finished running. I guess I don't know.
Okay. They're just wondering. They're like, is William taking care of himself? William, do you mind if I read some of these super chats? Because some of this is kind of
Sure.
comments directed towards you. But Bad Girl Gone says, mucho amor and mad respect for Mr. Is it, I keep saying Grood, but there's no
No,
R. It's
no,
Good.
yeah, good. Like dude, but with
Good.
a G in front.
Oh, see, there you go. Good. There you go. I said it. Um, Great G, is it Great Gig in the Sky? Says, Streets, have you caught Oh No Nora No Surrender video explaining the Church of Scientology safe pointing black ops against the protesters? Oh Nora has been pointing out a couple of strategies that that OSA is doing. So should be
I'm not familiar with that. I kind of just
okay. You just do
go with
it.
the flow. Yeah, just do it. Stuff like that is not gonna. I'm not. I think sometimes when they do ops like that, it's sort of to play mind games to mess with
To fuck
people's
with your mind.
heads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not gonna work with me. I just don't pay it any mind.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Someone in the comments said, and thank you again for the $5. You don't have to be an ex Scientologist to be an SP. I'm an SP by birth. DM David declared a Germany a suppressive country because we didn't acknowledge them as a church. Well,
Take
okay.
great pride in that. Being a suppressive person is a cool thing. That's what all the cool kids are doing these days.
So they don't go to Germany. They're like, we're not building anything in Germany. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I guess
Interesting.
they're restricted in Germany.
Well, Julie says, AGCA, please go online, fill out the complaint form.
Mm.
AGCA. I think they meant to say go to
So
the
yeah, it's
complaint form
the
for the
attorney
officers,
general.
attorney
No, they're
general.
saying, yeah. So listen, the attorney general will never. Their policy is they will not look at a case until it goes to a full adjudication through normal processes. The normal
Yes.
process is through the LAPD filing a complaint, and you will get a disposition somewhere between 12 and 18 months later. If you haven't gone through that process and received a disposition, the attorney general isn't going to do anything. Not to mention the attorney general Rob Bonta isn't worth a pile of crap, so he's not going to do anything either. The AG has never stepped in and done anything about the LAPD. And listen,
Wow.
the corruption with LAPD is so well documented. My group, we've uncovered the fact that the Chief Moore or the LAPD destroyed 25 years of police shooting documents illegally. They're supposed to be
Yeah.
preserved. They
Yeah.
chose to last year just incinerate them just because they wanted to get rid of them, even though they're not supposed to.
Wow.
And yeah, and so listen, if the AG isn't going to step in over things like that,
Yeah.
um, they're never going to. If you want to get LAPD under control, it requires having a mayor and a city council that's going to hold them accountable. Most
Absolutely.
importantly, it requires a civil oversight commission that takes their job seriously. Right now, our civilian oversight committee, the LAPD commission, is full of ex-cops. That's not exactly
Yeah.
the way civilian oversight is supposed to be put together. You know, we shouldn't have the head of the group that's overseeing a cop be a guy who was an ex-police chief, but that's what we have.
What is the group that I don't think it's an ombudsman's office, but like what is the group that oversees that does independent they're independent of the police and they do reviews of their work and complaints.
It's called
What
Film the Police LA.
there you
Call
go. It's called,
other than that,
it's,
listen.
no. Well, there's
um,
that.
that would be
There's
the
a group.
LAP. That would, yeah, it'd be called the LA. You have the LAP commission. That's their job. The
Okay,
and the civilian oversight committee. But again, like I said,
got you.
they're run by the guy who runs it is an ex FBI, ex police chief of the airport police, ex Santa Monica
Interesting.
cop. Then you have another one who's a prosecutor, and the other guy on there, his brother's a sergeant in the LAPD. They're all connected to the LAPD. The Civilian Oversight Committee should be teachers and store owners and homemakers or whoever, regular people from the
Community
community,
members.
exactly,
Yes, I
who
like
should be
that.
doing this oversight. Additionally, and this may sound counterintuitive, LAPD commission members are not paid for their job. So that means they have to sort of be independently wealthy
Yes.
or have another job, so they can't really dedicate as much time to this. I think it's one of those positions that should be paid. Right now they're appointed by the mayor, each member.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should be elected. They should be elected by the public and allow us to choose who's going to be on there. But
Absolutely. No, I
yeah.
agree with you. Independent reviewers that aren't salary, that some that could volunteer, that might need to do a little bit of training here and there to see what they're looking for. I agree with that.
I mean, we have governmental agencies that should be, listen, I would say the LA City Controller, Kenneth Mejia, you know,
Yes.
he was elected to do just this, right? Kenneth Mejia was elected with a huge mandate. This is a guy who got the most votes in LA City history. He got more
Yeah.
votes than Mayor Bass as
Yes.
a controller. It doesn't happen often. And his mandate was to come in and to audit the LAPD from top to bottom. In fact, you know, he had asked me to be part of his office. I was literally hired, and then I had to turn it down because I just didn't trust that they were going to be aggressive enough, and I felt like I can get more done on the outside.
Yeah.
But and I can, and I can.
Yes.
That was a great best decision I ever made. So
Good.
far they have audited just 1% of the LAPD.
We need
That's
more
not
of
good
you.
enough.
We just need more of you, William. We do.
Oh, I have a
We do.
listen. My team there. I have a group of people around me. Our group. We do hardcore work. You know, after we saw that the LAPD was destroying all these public documents. My guy spent an entire weekend running a bunch of computers, downloading every single public document that the LAPD has. Like I think it was 111,000 files
Mm.
because the LAPD destroys these things, and he put together a searchable database with it. It's all you can even the PDFs that are written in script are searchable now. So
Yeah.
it's a nice database that we can use. Ideally, we put together so reporters could actually access it and use it for their stuff. But you know, the reporters in LA are terrible, so they do nothing.
I love that. I love that you're I love the eagerness. I think that that's awesome, and that's what we continue to need, right? Not just like in LA, but everywhere, everywhere. Like I wish we had more, you
But
know.
I want to create a model. My whole thing is create models that people can use and
Yeah.
can improve upon. You can copy what we're doing, or you can take it and change it around, put your own spin on it, and do it better.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I mean, and is that your next step is create a model in which communities can, you know, take upon that and review that and maybe build upon that in order to ensure that people
I
with
mean,
authority are able to do
I,
something.
I feel the model is there as far as
Yes.
it's not like it's written down and there's an actual blueprint on paper of what we're doing. But I
Right.
think we've done enough that can inspire others to do what we're doing. Because listen, if they're doing this in other places, it's going to be different. The communities are going to be
Absolutely.
different, and the needs are going to be different. So you're going to have to tailor things to those areas. So
Yes.
hopefully you look at the things I do and say, okay, they're not just, out there holding signs and protesting. They're actually contacting officials and
Yep.
and doing, and not just that, we try to bring the community along. We try to, when we go out to these protests, and they have been nonviolent on our part, we try to bring the community along. We make sure that the surrounding businesses get plenty of business. We give them our business, we shout them out, and when those businesses see us coming, they get happy. They love us. They love what we're doing. And that's how you win, right? You want to isolate the Church of Scientology, and then from there, bring the community along, set a good example, make it a healthy protest. So it's, it's not that it's just effective, but also fun. It ends up being a party out there.
Inclusive,
It is.
fun.
And
I
people are
love
bringing out
that.
their families, their 6 and 8 year old kids to
Yes.
enjoy the time.
Absolutely. Pepperoni Nip says, and I think she meant to say, are any of the protesters from afar doing anything to hurt what you are trying to do, such as emails to DOJ?
I don't know of anybody trying to help us. We've had nothing but support.
Or hurt us, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, I don't.
Lulu says, let's get rolling with the T-shirts and start fundraising for legal fees for the squirrels. Give the people what they want, Mr. Good.
I know. I'm gonna get to it. I get some like anxiety. It's like, uh, some things are easy. It's easy for me to go scream at a cop and stuff,
Yeah.
but like
You
trying to
can't sit
catch
down
up
and do
on small.
merch.
I will get it done. I will. I just get
I
excited.
just got
I
mine
start
done. Don't
sweating again.
worry. You just got to sit down and do it. That's all. Just do it. Just do it. All right. Megan says, great interview. Thank you, Rabbit, for letting your guests speak. Many interrupt the guests. Great work, Streets. You are inspiring and showing the youngins how to do it right. Thank you, Megan. Gizmo, you get my emails about LAPD killing one of their own? The email to me
Yeah.
or the email to
No,
you?
I think that's probably to talking about Houston tipping. Listen,
Okay.
I have a lot of criticism of the LAPD.
Yes.
On that case, I think people are a little. I've investigated that case deeply.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see the connection between the LAPD supposedly having him killed. It's a lot of misinformation about it. They said that he was this officer who died. He died in a training exercise. He got, I guess they got tackled and fell on his neck and
Okay.
broke his neck. They're claiming that he was killed in retaliation because he was investigating a rape of a woman. It's not true. He was working as a front desk cop. A lady came
Okay.
in saying she was raped, and he took the report. He wasn't doing any investigating, and a lot of information that surrounds it. Listen, I'm not in the business of normally defending the LAPD, but on this
Yeah,
one,
that's
I don't think the facts don't support, as of yet, don't
yes.
support the claim that the LAPD had him killed.
Gotcha. Well, okay. Proud Fleaboard Warrior, Church of Scientology's building in Germany. They're a registered club member of Church of Scientology, can't have jobs in government because Church of Scientology is watched by the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution. Wow. See, thank you so much for that. Nona Boss says, would making FOIA requests be beneficial and to what agencies could we send them to? Thank you for all that you're doing, Streets.
Yeah, so a FOIA request in California are called CPRA, is California Public Records Act. Um, to do a CPRA request, you actually have to do it through. I mean, you can actually do it anyway. You can send them an email or whatever. Although mostly in California, or in LA, it's done through the
Yeah.
Next Request portal. Um, I'm not sure what you would get out of those FOIA requests. You're going to ask for records, email records. You can't get it from the Church of Scientology. It's a private entity.
Right.
Only a public entity would be required to provide these documents. So at best, you'd be able to CPRA documents from the LAPD, and best, you get emails. I don't know what you'd be looking for. Whatever they are discussing is not going to be an email. They're not going
Yeah.
to have emails sent back and forth saying, "Hey, can you falsely arrest this guy or that guy?"
Yeah,
I'm sure it's done
they're
over the
not going to
phone.
self-admit
Yeah.
to
So
any wrongdoing.
I don't even know. Listen, there are certain things to FOIA. I don't know how it would be used in this case, though.
It says, I'm not sure if I understand this comment, low free Louisiana? Free? You understand it?
Low for real, I have no idea.
Low for real, Louisiana. Debbie, I'm
Yeah.
not understanding the comment, but thank you so much for the $4.99. Projector Works will make a debut with raindrops. Projector Works will make a okay. Well, thank you.
Well, I look forward to the debut.
All right then, raindrops. All right, William. I am not going to keep you because I know you just got done jogging and you just got on camera and everything. So I want to thank you so much for
Oh, I'm headed over there to go check out
you,
the restaurant and see what they're
you gotta
doing.
go check. You gotta. I
Of course
mean,
I am.
you guys gotta go. I mean, you
No,
gonna
no,
go right
listen.
live after
After
this.
after their listen, their whole goal. If I
Yes.
could just talk about this, their whole goal with the
Yes,
arrest
please
the other
do.
day, they knew that these arrests are going to go nowhere. They knew
Yes.
they were going to go nowhere. This is what we call putting somebody through the ride. Arresting them, making them feel uncomfortable, and sending a message to the other people that this could happen to you. Letting the other protesters know that, hey, man, you see, we arrested these guys for some nonsense. We'll do the same thing to you. So you better not come out. And
Yeah.
listen, that will work. And I'm not knocking anybody who decides, hey, I don't want to come out there again because I don't want to risk it. That's fine. I'm just not built that way. If you're going to come out here and try to scare people off, I'm going to be there 10 times more. I'm going to go after you even harder. I'm going to come after you with everything I've got now because if you want to play this game, my whole thing is you take a swipe at me, take a swipe at one of our guys, one of our people, I'm going to take 100 swipes back at you to let you know that you think twice about doing it again next time. They're trying to send a message to us. It's important for me and for us to send a message right back to them.
Reciprocate.
Yes. And so, listen, I get it. If you don't want to come out there anymore, or if you were thinking about coming out there and you're scared, that's fine. I don't think it's not going to stop us. And I think there are going to be more people coming out and more people. Good people are going to stand up and not be intimidated by this. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
No, and I think, like you said, you can't be afraid. You can't shy. I mean, it's what you gotta do. You gotta do. You
Hey,
know.
they're going to arrest me this week. I look forward to it. I don't
Oh
care.
my God.
They're going to hear my mouth, and and then the minute I get out of jail, there'll be a huge platform waiting, and I'm going to come after them even harder and keep going.
Oh my gosh, William. All right, then, William, you're on my third, fourth person on the YouTube people that I want to meet list. I have a list going on. There's several people in there, but you just made it. I was like, I got it. I got it. One day I'm gonna head to LA, right? Hopefully they're still protesting and we'll figure it out. I told the people that I was gonna do that. Rebecca says, question, if DOA's van was taken in a warrant to look for evidence, why are they charging per day to keep his van? Do you know this answer? It's if it's being searched for evidence, there should be no charge. Do you know this answer?
Yeah, actually, I don't know the answer. I've been thinking about it. What I do know is if there is a charge per day, it doesn't matter. We're going to get his van out. No matter what, we're
Yeah.
getting his van out. And on top of it, not only we're going to get his van out, so we know that he uses it as a shelter, right? That's where he sleeps at.
Yeah, that's
When he
his
comes out,
house.
yeah, well, you know what? We're going to get his van out. We're going to get all his belongings, and I'm going to put him up in a hotel, a really nice hotel for a couple of days so he can relax too.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Renee says it's been suggested for people calling a specific cop cell, not 911, to avoid misuse of 911. Thoughts? Then the cop is calling for backup.
I mean, that could very well be happening. They could be calling it. Listen, I found out something today. Last week, one of Lady Mindy was
Yes.
assaulted by one of a bar owner right behind La
Yeah.
Poubelle, and
Yeah.
she got arrested, or so we thought. Because when I checked the courts, the website, there's no listing of her arrest. So I don't even think she was arrested. They put her in handcuffs. I have a feeling they took her around a block and released her again.
What
Um,
the hell?
yeah, so I have to follow up on that because I don't think that
Yeah.
arrest even happened.
Okay, so we got another one. It says projector to display images of La Poubelle. They're giving us hints.
Oh,
Oh,
but
and by the way,
somebody was already
somebody
going to bring
has
it
it.
out.
By the way, Debbie was trying to say love from Louisiana. That's
All
what she
right,
meant to say.
love. All right,
Thank
love.
you, Debbie. Sorry, we didn't understand the comment. Thank you. You guys, make sure you check out Scientology Audit, LA Streets. The link tree is in the description box. This is the channel. This is the man, the man. I want to thank you again so much for coming on. I hope this is not the last time you come on that.
Come on, I'll come on. Listen, I can talk about this stuff all day long.
It
Anytime,
sounds like it.
yeah. And I got a big mouth, so
There
anytime you
you
want to
go.
talk,
Awesome. Thank you so much, William. You have a great day, okay?
take care.
I appreciate you. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye. All right, guys. I want to thank a couple people. Let me just, before we head out, because I got to shout out a couple people. Literally, Sherry, thank you for becoming a member. Campbell Soup, thank you. Great Gig in the Sky, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Debbie, thank you for becoming a member. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all my wonderful members. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys go jump over to Streets LA because he's going to be going live soon. He's going to be out there. All right. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for being here, for supporting the channel. But make sure you continue to support all of the SPTV community, all of those auditors out there. It's so important. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Rabbits out.